Hi everyone, welcome along to part 28 of this hit and miss engine. Previously you've seen in the videos that I wasn't happy with the governor idea, and I've hit it twice over now, but I've come up with what I think is going to work, and I was working out the spring tension idea when I think it was John from John's workshop had said to me, where's your spring gonna go? And he shouted at the screen, and I'd already planned where the spring were gonna go, which was at the front, exposed, so you'd see it stuck out from the flywheel where the copper balls were. It might have been with John saying that I started thinking, is there anywhere else I could put the spring so that it wouldn't be seen as such. So I've come up with another idea, and we've made it, and in this part I'm going to show you what we've done. Thanks for watching in advance. Well, I hope you can see this okay, because I've mounted a camera right above the work. So this is what we've got, and see quite clearly the finger latches and unlatches, and again this is going to be dependent on these screws being set just right and Loctited. Now, can you see, let's have a look, can you see this screw here? You may remember I mentioned them, but I never said what they were for. That's for a spring, and I drilled both sides, but I cocked up because I did them both together, and there should have been a mirror of each other. So if I turn this, you'll see there's a screw on this side, and the other one, I'm going to keep my fingers here to stop them screws dropping out, is the other one there. So I said I'd need to take them out, I'll take that one out and re-drill it on this side and blank it off to put a spring across, so that when it's flown out like that, as it slows down, spring will pull it back. And I got to thinking, wouldn't it be lovely if I didn't have to see the spring at all? And I don't think I do. So I got these little springs out of my little box of springs, and how about if I put a spring in there on that spindle and a spring in there on that spindle? It'll be pushing them apart like that, which is out of mesh. When the balls spin up, it'll pull it together, latch the valve, and be putting pressure back on there, so when that slows down sufficiently, it'll do that. Well, basically it'll be doing that. You can see that. Now that gap isn't very big for that spring to be compressed up, so what I could do is take this off and just take a little bit off this. Now I wouldn't want to take it off the whole diameter, because I need that centre diameter to press on this bush that's in here. If you can see that, but there's a bush in there. It's a 10 to 12 millimeter adapter that goes through there and presses on end at crank where it gets fatter. So if I just remove a bit down just past where these spindle holes come through and leave the shoulder on it, I've got two options then. I can either use these two springs in there, and if that's no good, I could put a large spring in there instead and cut this back a bit further. I'm ready to take this apart now, because my part came that I ordered, and I don't know which way is up, right, down or what here. It's got a camera upside down. So it's a 4mm ball end, long shank, carbide bit. which is to drill the half of the ball out. And that is the ball, and that's a 4mm round nose bit, so half into there and then drill down. It's all getting a bit tight around this area, and you won't see any springs, because if you remember when I did this part here, this would have had a spring across here somewhere pushing this that way onto the cam, and I did away with it, and I drilled down the centre of that, didn't I, and put a spring inside and a peg on it, which you can probably just see at the back if you saw that episode, so that is sprung. So when that's off cam like that, that's sprung. So if I pull against it and see what it does, it pushes that back, so once the valve gets closed it gives you your tappet clearance, and that looks great. Well, it don't look great, you don't see it, you just don't even know it's there. Well, these are a bit same, won't they? And that's the way I'm looking at going, and there's not in any massive great hurry doing this, and it's a one-off. I think first job's probably to take out this crank and get it set up in the milling machine to drill this little dimple in it, because I think that crank could be quite hard. Yeah, 2mm deep here. Set a 0 on my quill. Not sure if that's deep enough. I'd say that's not. The only way I could prove that is to put a depth gauge on the top of the ball to the shaft, and it should be 2mm. So I don't want to upset any settings here, so I might have to put that bit back in again. I've got them all set on my DRO. so it should be okay. I wanted 2, God, well, that's 1.9, so I haven't. It should be okay. It's going 2mm, isn't it? That's on that edge and I go in 2. That's half my 4. We'll see if this fits together. Ball bearing. One shaft. That's it. We've now got our keyed, call it a keyway, can't we? A ball bearing keyway. Only thing I have to be concentrated on next, excuse me, is to get it pressed properly onto the flywheel when I do that it don't spin on that, and we should be cooking with gas, all being well. Which I may say is very expensive for it. It's just gone up, hasn't it? Just I mean, the house heating's costing over £6 a day now. Right, so that's done. Leave that there. What's next? So put crank back in. What's next? What's next? Yeah, next is sort out this end, isn't it? Now if I shave some off that total, it'll go further onto the crankshaft than I really wanted it to. However, does that matter? Does it? That went further on. Yeah, it would matter. I need the spacing to get my springs in, which I've said already. Well, I haven't said it, but it's, the spring wants to be 3.5 open while it's in its gap, 2.25 fully compressed with the unlatched, with the spring compressed right up together is 3mm, and I've only got 2.25, so I need to take, well, let's say 1mm. I need to get 1mm off here. It's no good taking 1mm off all over, otherwise I'll have to remake that spacer there, which I don't really want to do. So I've got to try and take off 1mm of this all the way around just past the edge of that. Which is 2.37, and that we know is 2. But is it 2? What am I worried about? It don't matter if it comes off there as well, does it? Because the ball ain't holding till it gets right down here, right down in there. So it doesn't matter what I don't face of that. So all I need to do is get this in the lathe chucked up and run off a millimetre just past enough room for a spring. Yeah, really, there could do with being a smaller diameter. I'll have to see if I've got anything else. Although they're only shoved to one side, won't they? We've got somewhere with it. I've freed it off. I put these little pieces of rod in the lathe and just sanded a little bit off them, and then I've lubricated the tubes, and it seems to be working in a fashion. So they're working. So to keep this back I need a nut. Only stuff I've got is this. I don't know what it is. It looks like mild steel, but it's non-magnetic, and I think it'll do for a sleeve nut. I think it'll just clear. I think. Have a look. Five to 11 at night, Friday night. Can't think of anything better to be doing. Oh, this light needs changing. It's doing my head in, flickering. Out it off. I've heard people say the part off using power feed, but I've never tried it. It's a bit frightening really, in case it grabs. At least this way you can let go quickly. There she goes. It's not. That is not actually in the centre, if you can see. It's not correct. But it's a nut, so does it matter? Maybe not. Sorry guys, I got a bit carried away with myself and I set it going. And I've cut 2, 3. Bring you along for the rest of it. I'm going to use my stop on the end of here, but it won't reach. So I'm just marking it up and lining it up with the edge of the jaws. I don't know whether that'll fit any kind of spanner that I've got. We'll have a go. I've got an adjustable spanner that fits everything. Yeah, it'll do. Take that cutter out before I rip my hand off. Carbide cutters are amazing. Beautiful, heavy as hell. I'll leave that in there. Undo. So that's it, done. Put that back in the lathe and I'll clean that end up. Right, so we've created a nut, a sleeve nut. That's turned down to a size. I've cleaned that off, chamfered that edge. We're all good. Only thing I need to do now is see if it fits. These M2s out with either pins or whatever, and yeah, that is tight. Very tight. so far happy as punch. So let's try and superimpose what will happen when this thing spins up and these balls fly out. That sounds painful, doesn't it? So, oh, I can't, can I? Because I won't be doing it by rotating it, because it's not attached yet in this gear and this gear. So I'll just rotate it by hand. So we'll put some pressure on the balls like that and rotate till the cam comes up and see if it'll latch. And does it? No, it's not latching. Why ain't it latching? Yeah, it's only just catching. That is, yeah, it's this adjustment. Yeah, that's latched. It's the adjustment. It needs really critical adjustment there, and then the Loctite on. I'm going to be struggling doing that, but it'll happen. Okay, so that's latched. So if I now come off cam, did you see it dropped? Do it again. That's latched. So now that engine can run free with the exhaust valve jammed open. You let go of it, it latches, and it now operates as a little engine, if ever. Okay, clear as mud, but yeah, this is all complete apart from fettling this, making these look nicer and polish them, and then press the flywheel on. Okay guys, I think again we might call that a part 28, because we're getting close, but I might publish that as part 28, and then next part I'll press flywheel on and I'll make the holder for the ignition coil. I'll probably get a drill or something so I can run this over and sort of leave it running for a bit to try and wear it in a bit, bed it in. If not, I would have to hone it again. I can't, well, I could hone it from the front by taking the head off. But let's hope we don't have to do that. Of course, we've got a chimney to make, as we know, a carburetor and an exhaust. We're getting there. Thanks for watching. Aye, so it was a success with that. It's very intricate, but it definitely was a success. If you like that part, give us a thumbs up and maybe a subscribe. We're doing okay. We're up to 1,400 subscribers now, so that's great. We're into New Year and with lots and lots of things planned for New Year. So thanks for watching guys, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you.